Hello, I'm Sharpened Blade, and these are my thoughts on the XM-18. This is not a review or an overview, it's just my thoughts on the knife. I don't carry this knife that much, and I've been going through my collection and selling pretty much everything that I don't carry. However, it was nice being able to say I have a Hinderer in the collection, so it was sticking around just for superficial reasons. But I sold a knife to a guy, another knife, and he asked me if I had an XM-18, and I said I do. It's not really for sale, but I do have one. And he hit me up with an offer I couldn't refuse. So, anyways, it's sold, basically. So, yeah, I'm making this video just to kind of get my thoughts out there on this. I am buying another Hinderer. I don't know if I'll buy another XM-18 or if I'll probably try something different. There are other XM-18s out there that I think I would like more than this. I like Wharncliffe's, so there's a Wharncliffe XM-18 that I'd like to try. I just really couldn't justify having two XM-18s. Like I wouldn't mind having multiple Hinderers, but two XM-18s, couldn't justify it. So this is a way for me to try some other things. I'm not getting another Hinderer right away, but eventually I will. So this isn't the end of Hinderers on the channel by any means. It's just it for now. That's yeah. So anyways, the action, like it's a decent flip action. I mean that works pretty well, but I have to give it more. I wouldn't say it's a light detent, but I have to give it a little more oomph than usual when I go to deploy it. Thumb studs, they work. You gotta keep your fingers off of, at least on this one, any pressure on the lock bar at all destroys any chance of flipping using the thumb studs. Unless you're gonna, really give her, you gotta keep your fingers off of the lock bar. So you gotta keep them on the pocket clip. There, and it works. But I find myself thinking too much. It's like, okay, keep that, because it really, it doesn't work that well if you put any pressure on the lock bar at all. Now it's a big enough knife. You think you could keep your fingers off there, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm just not doing it right, but yeah, it works fine. Lefty, because as I fail it. Okay, anyways, take my word for it. It usually works fine. Lefty for that reason, because you don't have to worry about your fingers on that at all, or over here, right? So that's fine. But action wise, it's good. The drop, good. Can't complain about that. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. It's nice. It has a nice action, but it's not. It's hard to say because it's the only one I've handled, but in other videos I've seen, the actions seem to be a little bit more snappy, and you can use your thumb a little bit easier on the thumb studs. I cannot reverse flick this at all for the life of me. I've tried many times, I can't. So, but I've seen people do it, so I don't know if it's just this one or if it's just me. I don't know, but as far as the action goes, it's good. It has a nice action. This is currently on bearings. It came on Teflon washers. The action sucked on that, but they obviously would have just had to break in. But it's like, no, I'm going to take it apart and put bearings on. And as soon as I did that, action is definitely muchly improved. Which leads to taking the knife apart, which was not pleasant. Now, it's easy enough to get a spanner bit, I've been told. You can even make one easily enough. Hinderer sells them for 75 bucks USD. So they're out there, they exist. But without one, which I needed to take it apart because it sucked on Teflon washers. I needed to get it apart immediately. I have very little patience when it comes to stuff like that. So I figured out a way to get it apart, and I got it apart. But man, it was not pleasant. It was not a pleasant experience at all. But so I don't like that. I wish they were easier to take apart, for sure, 100%. But the other thing that people don't like about this is how it has multiple bits that you need. You need multiple bits to take this apart. You need flathead, Torx, and not to take it apart, but you do need, if you want to flip the pocket clip, because it comes tip down carry, if you want to flip it to tip up carry, you need to have Phillips. I'm not a huge tool guy, so I'm not going to pretend to know. I think it's Phillips. I could look it up. I don't want to. Pretty sure it's Phillips. And then you have Phillips screws here on the pocket clip. Now, you don't need to take the pocket clip off to take the knife apart, so you really only need Torx and flathead. I mean, plus the spanner bit. But to take a knife apart, usually I need 2 bits anyways. So the point of, oh, you need multiple bits to take this apart, it's kind of moot. You need that on multiple knives. There are knives coming out now, it's usually the same T8. It's becoming very popular, like right across the board. All the screws are T8, so you just need one. That's really convenient and nice, but most of the time you need 2 different bits anyways. The biggest complaint I have is just that spanner bit for the back of that. If it wasn't for that, you could have all different screws. If you want a different one each here, whatever. I don't take the knife apart that often that it's going to bother me that much. But yeah, I don't think, if you've heard people complain about having to have multiple different kinds of bits to take Hinderers apart, and that's why they don't buy one, most of the time you need multiple bits to take a knife apart anyway, so that just, I don't know, doesn't really bother me that much. It's just the spanner bit that I don't like. And to be honest, having the Phillips screws here, instead of, I would rather see those than T6. T6 strips. These can strip too if you're not careful, I'm sure. But I mean, they're a lot harder to strip than T6. So I'm not saying that all knife brands should switch to Phillips instead of T6, but I can see the validity of it. So anyways, taking it apart was probably this is the worst knife I've ever had to take apart because I don't have the proper tools for it. And it's really not that bad. Once you get a spanner bit, it wouldn't be any problem to take it apart. It's just kind of annoying if you don't have one. So, yeah. You can figure it out though. If you don't have one, I got it apart. Don't ask me how I got it apart, but I got it apart. It didn't really damage anything the way I did it. I didn't damage anything there. I didn't damage anything. I just scratched up these screws a bit. But anyways, I've told that to the person that I'm selling this to. They're fine with it. But yeah, there's no scratches on it. It's a working finish too, which I really like. I like how it's even if you did scratch it, you really wouldn't see it on there. And I like the color of the G10, that reddish color. I like that. It's a rich color red. And then the hardware and the thumb studs are silver, so that's really nice too. I like that. Well, silver, they're shiny. They're very shiny. And the same with the back spacer, barrel spacers, I should say. They're shiny too. So it's kind of nice contrast. The shiny hardware and accents and stuff compared to stonewashed or working finish. Very heavy stonewash, but it's working finish. Same with on the blade, working finish there. It hides scratches very well too. Not that I have any scratches on it, because I really didn't use this very hard. Which is probably another reason why I'm selling it. It's kind of overkill for what I use my knives for. But anyways, the other thing I want to touch on is the jimping. Some people complain about the jimping. I honestly don't feel it that much. I don't know why people would complain about it. I don't feel it. It's aggressive, yes. Well, I mean, it looks aggressive, I should say. It's really not that aggressive. Maybe it's the working finish that's kind of rounded them off more. But like when I put my thumb on it, and again, like I say, I haven't used it that hard, but when I do use it, I hardly even notice the jimping there. I mean, I can feel it, but it's not tearing my hand apart, so it's really not that bad. Don't let the jimping scare you away. Don't let the multiple bits scare you away. It's fine. Long story short, I really like the knife. I really don't want to sell it, but I'm going to. I'm going to be getting another one in eventually, and I was going to do like a really in-depth review on this, but I'll do that on the next one. I just talked about the jimping. I'll touch on the ergos real quick. Ergos, like I say, it feels good in hand. You can choke up a little bit up here. You know, it's a bigger knife, but it's not too big. It just feels nice in hand. I like it. So I'm going to be sad to see it go, but I'll get another one someday. So it's not too sad. Hope this gave you a little bit of information. I just sat down and made this video. I didn't really think about it. It's probably very obvious that I didn't think much about it. So I might be all over the place, but I may edit it and make it seem like a cohesive video. But anyways, yeah, it's an impressive knife. Like I had mentioned at the first of the video, definitely think it's worth every penny. It's a great knife. When you use it and when you hold it and feel it, you say, oh yeah, that's why I paid that much. So anyways, before I ramble on any more than I already have, thank you so much for watching. Take care.